As the alien fleet drifted toward Earth, their confidence was absolute. For years, the aliens had observed the humans, monitoring their technology and studying their broadcasts. Commander Vix, leading the invasion, regarded Earth as a backwater world, ripe for conquest. In the control room of the flagship, he watched Earth grow larger on the screens before him, and a slight smirk tugged at his lips. Conquest of Earth, he thought, would be swift and effortless, a minor task that would serve as a warning to other species that dared to defy the galactic dominion. The fleet approached with imposing grandeur, cloaked in shields and armed with weapons that no human technology could rival. Vix's officers displayed confidence, many already discussing how quickly they could overwhelm Earth's defenses. On board the command deck, an officer reviewed the latest intelligence reports and, with a wry smile, said, "Commander, their technology is laughable. These humans still rely on combustion engines and primitive electronics. They won't last an hour against us." Vix nodded in agreement. His strategy was simple: surround Earth, disable its defenses, and then launch a swift ground invasion to capture key locations. The objective was to subdue the humans before they even realized the full extent of the threat. To him, Earth was little more than a conquest on the way to greater battles. As the fleet settled into orbit, his officers signaled readiness, and the countdown to invasion began. On the surface, however, humanity was far from unprepared. In recent years, Earth's leaders had anticipated threats from beyond their own world. Hidden from public view, Earth's defense forces had been quietly building a counterforce, a mix of technological breakthroughs and tactical innovations designed specifically for a situation like this. Underground bunkers housed scientists and strategists who had spent their lives preparing for extraterrestrial contact. At the head of this secretive operation was Captain Elena Marks, a brilliant strategist with a reputation for unconventional thinking. When the first alien ships appeared in Earth's orbit, alarms sounded in bunkers across the globe. Captain Marks received a priority alert, the message clear: Earth was under attack. She immediately called her team together, briefing them on the approaching threat and preparing for what was likely to be the fight of their lives. Marks was calm but resolute. She had trained for this moment. She outlined a response plan, instructing her team to deploy their experimental defense systems, targeting the weak points in the alien formation. The initial response from Earth's forces was swift and surprising. Just as the alien fleet moved into position to block communication channels and cut off Earth's satellite network, they were hit by a series of electromagnetic pulses, EMPs, launched from Earth's secret orbital platforms. The pulses disabled a handful of alien drones and disrupted their initial scanning procedures, creating confusion among the lower-ranking officers on Vix's ship. To them, it was inconceivable that Earth's technology could disrupt their own systems. Commander Vix watched with narrowed eyes as the EMP bursts flickered across his screens. Although only a minor inconvenience, it was an annoyance he hadn't anticipated. "So, they have a little bite," he muttered, signaling for his fleet to recalibrate and advance. "Let's show them why resistance is futile." On Earth, Marx's team continued to deploy their countermeasures. Earth's best engineers had prepared a range of tools designed specifically to combat alien technologies. Within minutes, a network of unmanned drones launched from hidden silos, taking up strategic positions around Earth's atmosphere. Each drone was equipped with specialized jamming devices and heat-seeking projectiles, creating a defensive ring that intercepted any alien scout ships attempting to approach the surface. In the control room, Marks observed the alien fleet's movement, noting every reaction and adjustment. She could tell they were rattled, and that alone was a victory. The fleet, expecting no resistance, had been forced to pause and reorganize. But Marks knew that the aliens would regroup quickly. This was only the beginning. Then, in a move that stunned Vix's fleet, Earth's defense forces broadcasted a message to the invaders. It was brief and direct, but the implications were clear. "We are aware of your intentions. Surrender now, or face a response you are not prepared for." The message was signed simply, "Earth Command." The audacity of it was incomprehensible to Vix and his officers. "Did they just demand our surrender?" an officer asked, incredulous. Laughter erupted on the command deck, as Vix's officers dismissed the humans' warning as little more than bravado. To them, this was simply a last-ditch attempt to delay the inevitable. Vix, however, was no fool. As much as he scorned Earth's capabilities, he couldn't entirely ignore their confidence. "Let them play their games," he sneered. "They will fall soon enough." He signaled his fleet to continue advancing, this time with an order to neutralize all defensive structures on sight. His officers set the targeting systems, preparing to bombard Earth's military bases and key communication centers. Marks anticipated this move. She knew that the next wave would be intense, so she had her team prepare Earth's ground-to-space defense systems, massive railguns hidden deep within mountains, capable of firing projectiles at near-light speeds. These railguns had been a recent development, a top-secret project designed for planetary defense. As the alien fleet descended closer to Earth, Marks ordered her team to lock on and fire. The railguns unleashed a hail of hypervelocity projectiles that tore through the alien formation with surgical precision. Ships that had seemed invincible moments before were suddenly ripped apart, explosions scattering debris across the atmosphere. The impact was devastating, and within seconds, Vix's fleet had lost several key vessels. Alarms blared on the alien flagship as the crews scrambled to respond to the unexpected onslaught. Now visibly agitated, Vix demanded an assessment. His officers, rattled and struggling to regain control, reported that Earth's defenses were far more advanced than they predicted. Marks's team had effectively shifted the balance, forcing Vix's fleet into a defensive posture. For the first time, Vix understood that this wasn't a simple conquest. Humanity was prepared to fight. Back on Earth, Marks and her team watched the results of the strike with a renewed sense of hope. They knew this was only a temporary setback for the aliens, but it had bought them time and shaken the enemy's confidence. Marks addressed her team, reinforcing their resolve. "This is our home. They may have come expecting a conquest, but they're about to learn what it means to face Earth." As the dust settled and both sides assessed their positions, the message was clear: Earth would not surrender. Commander Vix, struggling to contain his anger, realized he had gravely miscalculated. This wasn't a weak, defenseless species begging for mercy. These humans were defiant, unyielding, and ready to stand their ground. For the first time, Vix began to question his own strategy. In the silence that followed the battle, Earth Command prepared for the next wave, knowing that their demand for surrender had rattled Vix's pride. The battle had only just begun, but Earth's initial strike had left a mark on Commander Vix and his fleet. The alien flagship was alive with activity, officers frantically relaying reports and recalibrating systems after the surprise railgun assault. Vix's eyes were steely, and his pride stung. Earth had proven more prepared than he had anticipated, and he was not one to be humiliated. The humans had dared to demand his surrender, a demand he now intended to crush with a vengeance. "Intensify the assault," he ordered, voice cold and unyielding. "We underestimated their defenses once. That won't happen again." His officers sprang into action, relaying orders to mobilize the fleet's full arsenal. They planned a coordinated strike aimed at overwhelming Earth's defenses with relentless, brute force. Vix envisioned leveling every key target on Earth's surface, turning resistance into ashes. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Captain Marks and her team were busy analyzing the alien fleet's renewed aggression. The massive screens in the underground command center displayed simulations of the incoming assault. Marks knew this next wave would be a true test of their preparedness and resilience. Earth had surprised the invaders once, but now the aliens were coming in full force. Her team reviewed tactical responses, adjusting every defensive system they had. She turned to her lead engineer, Drive Weston, who had been instrumental in developing Earth's covert defense technology. "Do we have enough power to sustain another railgun assault?" she asked, her voice firm but tense. "Barely," he replied. "Our energy reserves took a hit, and it'll take time to recharge at full capacity. But we do have an alternative." Drive Weston gestured to a holographic display of an experimental energy-draining field, a technology designed to weaken alien shields and disrupt power sources. The system hadn't been fully tested, but in their current predicament, It might be the edge they needed. Marx gave a nod of approval. Activate it. Let's see if we can disrupt their shield systems and slow them down. Every second counts. As the alien fleet advanced, Earth's forces deployed the energy-draining field across targeted zones in Earth's upper atmosphere. Invisible to the naked eye, the field stretched like a net, waiting to ensnare the alien ships. Within moments, Vix's fleet began to feel the effects. Alien shields flickered, then weakened, causing disarray among the attackers as they scrambled to understand what was happening. Their weapons fired at a fraction of their usual power, and their ships moved sluggishly, like predators caught in a trap. Vix's frustration grew as he observed his fleet struggling to maintain formation. "What are they doing down there?" he barked. His tactical officer, unable to provide a satisfying explanation, stammered out theories, all of which only fueled Vix's growing ire. The humans were outwitting them at every turn, and he could feel his controls slipping. The more they fought, the clearer it became that Earth was no passive target. This was calculated defiance. Seeing the aliens struggle, Marx seized the opportunity for another counteroffensive. "Launch the Valkyrie drones," she commanded. These drones, developed in secret, were Earth's most advanced, capable of rapid maneuvers and equipped with electromagnetic pulse weaponry specifically calibrated to disable alien tech. The drones shot out from concealed silos, forming a network that surrounded the alien ships, moving with such agility that Vix's officers could barely track them. As the drones closed in on the weakened fleet, they unleashed targeted EMP blasts that shorted alien systems and left ships vulnerable. Alien vessels began to stutter in mid-flight, some spiraling out of control, others going dark entirely. The control room of the flagship was now a scene of chaos, officers scrambling to regain control as Vix watched in disbelief. His once mighty fleet was being picked apart by humans he had dismissed as primitive. In desperation, Vix ordered a regroup, pulling his fleet back temporarily to assess the damage and recalibrate their systems. Marx and her team watched with a mix of pride and caution, understanding that while they had won this round, it would only fuel the aliens' determination to break Earth's defenses. They anticipated a brutal retaliation, and every available resource was put toward preparing for it. True to their predictions, Vix returned with an adjusted strategy. This time, he deployed decoy ships, meant to distract Earth's defenses while his main fleet reorganized. Marx recognized the tactic but chose not to fall for it, instructing her team to ignore the decoys and focus on any incoming direct threats. Her calm but unyielding approach kept Earth's defenses tightly coordinated, resisting the alien fleet's attempt to exploit weaknesses. Frustrated by Earth's continued resistance, Vix made a rare, fateful choice. He decided to communicate directly with Earth's leadership. He initiated a transmission, and his face appeared on the screens of the command center, his expression a mixture of anger and condescension. He was not used to issuing warnings, but these humans had tested his patience. "Humans," Vix began, voice laced with disdain. "This resistance is futile. You have surprised us, I'll grant you that, but it changes nothing. Surrender now, or I will reduce your planet to ruins." Marx, seeing the transmission, knew this was a moment she couldn't ignore. Her own image appeared on Vix's screen as she responded, meeting his gaze with calm defiance. "Commander Vix," she said, her tone cool and unwavering. "You came to Earth expecting an easy conquest, and yet here we are. You've underestimated us, and we have no intention of backing down. In fact, you might want to consider your options carefully. We're just getting started." Vix's expression hardened. He had never been addressed this way, certainly not by anyone he considered inferior. "You are overstepping, human," he snarled. "I do not negotiate." Marx smiled, a spark of resolve in her eyes. "Neither do we." The transmission ended, and the tension in Earth's command center was palpable. Marx turned back to her team, her gaze fierce. "They're desperate now. We need to prepare for their final strike. They'll throw everything they have at us." Vix, still simmering from the exchange, ordered his fleet to advance with full force, every ship aimed at Earth with one goal: to overwhelm them with sheer firepower. Marx, anticipating the assault, had Earth's forces prepared. Every railgun, drone, and defense mechanism was primed and ready. Earth's response would be unyielding. As Vix's fleet closed in, they found themselves met with Earth's defenses at full strength. Railguns fired relentlessly, drones wove through enemy lines, and Earth's strategic positions held strong. Marx's leadership transformed Earth's forces into a finely tuned machine, each member fully committed to standing their ground. Alien ships began to falter, explosions lighting up the sky as Vix's fleet struggled against the unanticipated strength of Earth's defenses. Amid the chaos, Earth's forces continued to push, sending a message with each attack: Earth was here to fight, and no invader would find victory on their soil. The flagship was silent, the once vibrant command deck reduced to a grim scene of flickering lights and tense expressions. Vix's officers moved in tense silence, their faces reflecting the frustration and fear of their faltering mission. The humans had not only resisted but had dismantled their strategies with a tenacity and precision that none of them had foreseen. Vix sat in his command chair, every inch of his posture rigid, his eyes fixed on the main screen that displayed the wreckage of alien ships scattered in Earth's orbit. For the first time, Vix felt the creeping sting of doubt. His fleet had suffered losses, significant ones. Reports from across the ship highlighted critical damage, depleting resources, and dwindling morale. Vix's voice cut through the tension, his words harsh. "We were not supposed to be facing annihilation here," he said, his voice edged with frustration. "Earth was a weak target, unworthy of our full attention. And yet here we are, weakened, our fleet humiliated." His officers exchanged uneasy glances. The reality of their situation had begun to settle over the entire crew. What had started as a simple conquest had turned into a full-scale battle of survival against a foe they had severely underestimated. But beneath their collective unease, a new respect was forming for their enemy, humans who had demonstrated an unbreakable spirit. Captain Marx, monitoring the situation from Earth's command center, sensed a shift in the battle as well. Her eyes were sharp, her focus unwavering as she reviewed the latest data on the alien fleet's diminishing resources and fractured tactics. She knew Vix's pride had been his downfall, and she was determined to capitalize on it. "They're at their breaking point," she said to her team, a note of finality in her voice. "If we push now, we can end this." Marx ordered her team to prepare Earth's forces for an all-out assault. The remaining drones were launched, armed with an advanced version of the EMP technology that had already proven effective. This final wave was designed not only to disable but to deliver a powerful statement: Earth was done with simply defending itself. Now, they would show the aliens what it meant to be cornered by the very civilization they had dismissed. The drones moved swiftly, their synchronized assault patterns tightening around the alien fleet. Every strike, every maneuver was calculated to sow further chaos among the alien ranks. Vix's ship, now exposed and vulnerable, was squarely in the crosshairs. On board the alien command deck, warnings blared as Earth's drones zeroed in on critical systems. Vix's officers shouted, calling for evasive maneuvers, but their voices were tinged with a defeat they could no longer deny. In a desperate bid to salvage what remained of his pride, Vix issued a final, frantic command. "Prepare the core disruptor," he barked, referencing a powerful weapon on board his flagship, capable of delivering a devastating blow to any surface target. His plan was clear: if he couldn't conquer Earth, he would at least leave his mark, punishing the humans for their insolence. But Marx, watching the alien fleet closely, anticipated the move. She'd studied Vix's tactics throughout the battle, noting his reliance on brute force and intimidation. She knew he would rather destroy Earth than retreat without some semblance of victory. Her team quickly calculated the disruptor's likely target and responded with the precision Earth's forces had demonstrated all along. With seconds to spare, they launched a counterattack, sending a cluster of drones toward the disruptor's power source. The drones hit their target, and a chain reaction ripped through the core of Vix's flagship. The disruptor, now disabled, sparked and sputtered, its threat neutralized. Vix watched in horror as his last attempt to strike back crumbled. The command deck fell silent, the hope of retaliation now extinguished. In Earth's command center, cheers erupted as the team witnessed the success of their strike. Marks allowed herself a brief smile, but her focus remained on the task at hand. "Open a channel to Vix's flagship," she instructed. The time had come for Earth's final statement. Marks knew this wasn't just about victory. It was about making it clear to any other potential invaders that Earth was no one's target. When Vix's haggard face appeared on the screen, Marks addressed him with the calm authority that had led Earth to this point. "Commander Vix," she began, her voice unwavering, "you came to Earth expecting submission. You underestimated our resilience, our intelligence, and our will to survive. This battle is over. Your fleet is defeated. We demand your immediate withdrawal from Earth's orbit." Vix's face twisted with a mix of fury and humiliation. The humans, a species he had once dismissed, had brought him to the brink of defeat. His mind raced, grappling with the shame of retreat, the weight of his pride, and the undeniable reality of his situation. For a long moment, he said nothing, the silence hanging heavy between him and the human commander. Finally, with no other options and his fleet in ruins, Vix gave the reluctant order to withdraw. His officers carried it out in grim silence, and the fleet, what was left of it, began its slow, humiliating retreat from Earth's orbit. Marks and her team watched as the alien ships pulled back, feeling a mix of relief and triumph. They had defended their home and sent a powerful message to the galaxy. Back on the flagship, Vix sat alone in the command chair, his gaze fixed on the distant glow of Earth. His mind was filled with bitter realization: humanity was more than he had ever imagined. His defeat was a stain on his honor, one that he would carry back to his superiors with no small measure of shame. But as much as he despised the humans for this humiliation, a part of him now respected them, recognizing a strength that he had failed to see. On Earth, Marks and her team celebrated a victory that was hard-won and bittersweet. They had defended their planet, but they knew this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, and now that humanity had proven itself, they could expect more attention from other alien species. Yet Marks felt a sense of pride and readiness. They had faced an overwhelming force and emerged stronger, more united. As Earth returned to a tenuous peace, global leaders recognized the significance of this moment. Plans were made to establish a dedicated interstellar defense program, with Captain Marks at the helm. Humanity would not be caught off guard again. They had shown that they could defend themselves against any threat, and now they would prepare for whatever else the universe might bring. In the quiet that followed the battle, a renewed sense of purpose spread across Earth. They had not only survived an alien invasion, they had forced the invaders to retreat. As they looked to the stars, humanity felt a surge of confidence. This was their home, and they would protect it at any cost. Vix's fleet, a shell of its former power, disappeared into the darkness, carrying word of Earth's defiance. For years to come, stories of the humans' unexpected strength would circulate among alien civilizations, a cautionary tale of resilience and resistance. And on Earth, humanity prepared, knowing that this victory marked the beginning of their role as defenders, as warriors who would hold their ground in the vast, untamed universe. As the battered alien fleet drifted away from Earth's orbit, the command center on Earth was filled with a mix of relief and exhilaration. Marks allowed herself a moment to savor the victory but remained focused. She knew the message they just sent wasn't only meant for Vix. It was a message to the galaxy that Earth was no longer a backwater target. Humanity had proven its strength, but Marks was keenly aware that this was just the beginning. Earth had fended off one alien commander, but more would come, and next time, they would be prepared. Earth's leaders quickly realized the significance of what had transpired. Representatives from every major nation gathered to discuss the next steps, marking a historic unity fueled by the urgency of survival. Marks was appointed to lead the new Interstellar Defense Council, and her first objective was clear: ensure Earth was never left so vulnerable again. While the alien fleet retreated, Earth worked tirelessly to fortify itself, converting its defensive systems into an advanced, globally coordinated network of space and ground defenses. A few days after the battle, Marx received intelligence reports indicating that fragments of Vix's fleet had been spotted lingering at the edges of the solar system. It was clear that Vix's pride still smoldered, and he was reluctant to let go of the idea of conquering Earth. Marx knew that if they allowed him time to regroup, he could return, likely with reinforcements. She needed to make sure he fully understood the consequences of any future aggression. Her response was both calculated and daring. Earth Command prepared a counter-signal, transmitting a high-powered broadcast directed squarely at Vix's fleet. The message was brief but unmistakably assertive. You have seen Earth's strength. Know that if you return, you will face a unified planet, prepared and resolute. For your own sake, do not test us again. The bold declaration rippled through Vix's fleet, reaching the commander himself. He was furious at the audacity of the humans, but he could no longer ignore the reality of his situation. He had come to Earth with intentions of conquest, yet he had left with a reminder of his limitations. For the first time, he considered the possibility that his empire might not be ready to contend with humanity. The cost of another battle with Earth might prove even higher than this one. The days that followed saw Earth united as never before. Marx worked closely with engineers, scientists, and military leaders to develop strategies for future defenses. Earth's defense programs received unprecedented resources and talent, with researchers innovating everything from advanced shield technologies to new propulsion systems. They were intent on making sure that next time, they would not merely survive, they would dominate. Meanwhile, humanity's audacious stand against Vix's fleet had already begun to draw attention from other alien civilizations. Across the galaxy, species that had long disregarded Earth as inconsequential were now taking notice. Reports of Vix's defeat circulated, each retelling painting humanity as a fierce, determined force, unwilling to surrender even against impossible odds. For the first time, Earth had earned a reputation that reached corners of the galaxy far beyond Vix's own empire. Back in Earth's command center, Marx received an encrypted transmission from a neighboring star system. The sender was unknown, but the message was clear. We observed your defense against the Dominion. Your strength is recognized. Should you seek allies, know that you have options among the stars. It was a short but significant message, signaling that Earth's victory had not only repelled an enemy but had also marked them as a potential partner in interstellar alliances. Marx took note of the message, understanding the gravity of Earth's new status. They were no longer alone, and the possibility of allies brought both opportunities and risks. Earth Command debated the idea of alliances carefully, wary of exchanging one set of threats for another. Marx emphasized caution, advising that while alliances could offer advantages, Earth's independence and resilience remained their greatest assets. Under Marx's leadership, Earth's defenses transformed into a sophisticated, multi-layered system. Satellites armed with defensive capabilities orbited the planet, while hidden ground-based installations were prepared to respond to any threat. The Vanguard Initiative, a program dedicated to training new defense forces, was established. Recruits from around the world joined, inspired by Earth's defiance and eager to protect their home from any future incursions. They trained in simulations modeled after the recent battle, learning the tactics that had worked against Vix's fleet and preparing for any variations future threats might bring. The Vanguard forces became a symbol of Earth's resilience, a reminder that humanity was prepared to defend itself against any threat. Marx ensured that the program instilled the same determination and focus that had driven Earth's victory. This is not just defense, she told the recruits. This is a statement. We will not be a vulnerable outpost in the galaxy. We are here, and we are ready. As the months passed, Earth saw its technology leap forward. The data collected from the battle with Vix's fleet allowed scientists to reverse engineer certain alien technologies, incorporating these advancements into Earth's own systems. By integrating alien knowledge with human ingenuity, Earth quickly developed innovations that elevated its defensive and offensive capabilities. Meanwhile, distant civilizations continued to monitor Earth's progress. Some saw Earth as a potential ally, others as a rising threat. Rumors spread about the humans who had managed to repel a Dominion fleet, a feat that few advanced planets could claim. Some alien factions even reached out in discreet ways, testing the waters for diplomatic relationships, while others merely watched, evaluating whether Earth was friend or foe. Vix's defeat marked a pivotal point in the galaxy's perception of humanity. Though Vix had left Earth's orbit, he was far from free of the consequences of his failure. Upon his return to his empire, he was met with scorn and doubt from his own leaders. The defeat was a stain on his record, and despite his attempts to justify his retreat, his superiors were unwilling to forgive such a failure. Earth's reputation continued to grow, but for Vix, it was a humiliation that haunted him and his fleet. For Earth, however, the future felt brighter. The planet had not only defended itself but had risen from the battle stronger than ever, armed with newfound knowledge and a deep-seated confidence. Humanity had achieved a unity that transcended borders, an unbreakable bond forged in the fire of survival. One evening, as Mark stood in Earth's command center, watching the stars, she felt the weight of her responsibility but also a deep pride in what they had accomplished. They had proven that Earth was not a target, but a force to be reckoned with. She knew there would be more battles, more threats, but with each challenge, humanity grew stronger, wiser, and more prepared. The final steps of Earth's defensive measures were completed. Earth Command had built a beacon, a message to the galaxy that they were open to peace but would meet any hostility with unrelenting strength.